I think in Washington and in the majority caucus and the governing power structures of Washington, I think often they imagine someone who doesn't exist. They've created this ideal person who's a hard worker, and they're in the workforce, and they're struggling with a past of traumas, perhaps, and housing is getting more expensive. They're a victim of capitalism and a victim of greedy people who surround them. Maybe racism in government, racism in policing, but they're under attack. And because they're under attack, they've turned to things to cope with it, like methamphetamine and fentanyl. Or perhaps their housing got so expensive that they were kicked out onto the streets. And they continue to try to work, but they've used fentanyl and methamphetamine to cope with living on the streets. This person does not really exist. Much more of what you hear is the parent saying, my child got involved in the wrong thing, and I wish the police would just arrest them because I want to save their life today and figure out what to do tomorrow from jail and get them sober enough that the family can come by and talk to them and find out what to do. Or a daughter who says, I haven't seen my dad in 20 years, and I now know that he's living on the streets of Seattle. His alcoholism turned into losing his job, turned into harder and harder drug use. And these are the stories you hear. You don't hear about this ideal person who's a victim of capitalism, and that caused them to fall into this. That person does not exist.